Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update for gold and silver. Again, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, one of my favorite sectors to invest in. A big physical precious metals holder myself. I do own a lot of these companies that I show you. I do have a personal stake in it. And this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. But let's dive into the charts. I'll let you know what they're saying, at least my interpretation of it. And here we go. So we're starting with the dollar. The dollar was basically flat today. It was up 0.03% is what I've got here. The 10-year, we're jump. So this is the dollar. I'll just give you one kind of bigger picture what I think is going to happen. We're coming on up. I think we're going to come and do like a back test and then roll over and potentially have a lower dollar eventually. The 10-year yield was down a little bit today, minus 0.87%. And we're on that right-hand shoulder of this big kind of reverse inverted head and shoulder pattern here. If I were to draw this in, it looks something on the lines of this here. And it's reverse head and shoulders. Jumping to gold. Gold was up today. Almost $10 is what I'm seeing on here. Another good buying pressure day. Hopefully the momentum can continue higher and we can break out of this pattern that we're in to the upside and get moving. A break will release us from this psychological hold in this price area. And I think we're going to get kicked in the butt and get in gear and start moving higher when we break. As you can see, we broke out of this pattern here and it really launched higher. And we're just in a consolidation pattern at the moment. We're at any point ready to break from this. Silver. Similar pattern that's developing. If you were to draw it from underneath here, you've got a 1, a 2, and then a 3rd developed, and we're probably going to try to break to the upside here at any point. That's going to look something like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then a break. So silver's putting in something very similar to gold. Just looks a little bit different. And then platinum's being strong. We had a small down day today of $1, but big up day, small little down days. The buyers are in control. I would like to see this move on up here in the short term. The ratio is remaining quite flat right now. And this is what it looks like on a big picture view. Down, a descending wedge pattern, broke to the upside, and we're just chopping sideways. This hasn't been moving too much of anywhere. And when I think gold starts to move, this guy's going to start to rocket higher, meaning that the gold and silver index will start to outperform gold. And this has a long valuation runway ahead of it for the gold and silver miners to outperform gold quite substantially. Karora Resources, looking at it, we're still bopping off the top here. We're waiting for gold to get that break. EXK, same thing with silver. We got to see some good buying pressure in silver, and this thing's going to, I think, rocket higher. This is what it looks like on the big long-term picture. Here's SILJ and ETF, silver junior miners. Again, we've got a lot of congestion all through here, going back and forth. Just waiting, I think, for silver to firm up. Then we've got GDX basically moving sideways today, not really doing much. There's the 1, 2, 3 pattern, and then the break usually happens after that. Metallic minerals getting a little bit of a sell-off today. Zooming in on the right-hand side, there's the little sell-off on the daily candlestick. Zooming out, this is a good spot, I think, to be buying down here in this kind of pattern. Koya silver. Man, something happened here. I don't know if it went way down or way up, but something's jacked up here. I want to move on. Discovery Silver. Looking at Discovery Silver. Coming up, squeezed up a little bit, broke to the downside. Now we're just chopping sideways, making our way back higher. So that one looks okay. First Majestic Silver. Couple of descending wedge type patterns. I think will potentially move higher eventually. But the buyers look to be in control at the moment. Newmont's making some way up. up 1% today. It's looking okay. We've got support underneath it. 1, 2, 3, and then we usually break to the upside. It's going to take some time. The amount of gold, descending wedge pattern that's forming, looking for a break to the upside. 1, 2, 3, and then the break. It's been going further into this pattern. Impact silver, doing kind of a double bottom here. If you guys like it, this is a low risk spot to be accumulating a little bit of shares. What these things usually do is create a pattern. They break it to the upside, and then they come back and do a retest, and then we see a move higher. Here's Aftermath silver. Let's dive in here. Aftermath silver coming up. We got a little bit of buying pressure on the right-hand side here. Again, I just hold on. I'm not really doing much. Sandstorm gold. We're right at that long-term resistance line coming through here. I think we're probably going to find some support. We'll see if this thing bounces lower or if we move on up. I don't see the reason how we would go down, especially with the inflation, money printing, and all that stuff. And maybe it takes a detour a little bit lower before going higher. I mean, it's possible. Franco-Nevada putting in this massive pattern. I'm anxiously awaiting this thing to break to the upside. It's just going to take some time. I do own this one in good amount. EMX royalty on the big picture view. We broke out of this pattern. We're kind of doing a retest before I think we move up. So that one looks okay. Tooten Resources getting a little bit of selling pressure today. We're down 5.6%, and we're just hanging out in this support area. Hopefully we can hang on and move on up soon. Wheaton Precious Metals flirting with its upper portion of the pattern. We've got this resistance line ready to break to the upside at some point. Gold Royalty, another royalty I own from Ely Gold. They got bought out by Gold Royalty, and I'm looking for this to break out of this pattern at some point, hopefully to the upside. Metallo Royalty still hanging on in the pattern. Everything's looking okay. Mavericks Metals getting a little bit of selling pressure here recently. Kind of zooming out, you can see that we've broken out of this kind of squeezing up pattern to the downside, and I think we're going to have to consolidate for a little while before rocketing higher. Royal Gold, we're playing with this downtrend line that's in the near term, but big term, we've got this big pattern that's developing. We break this pattern to the upside, we're going to see a big old move, because whenever you get these big patterns and squeeze up, they like to break one way or the other. I think it's going to break to the upside unless we have some deflationary credit problem that locks everything up. And then we got a Cisco Gold Royalty, another big, let's just do all of it. Another big old pattern that's squeezing up into this corner here. And with the valuations where they're at and everything and the way it looks, I mean, this does look, it looks favorable to move up because of the market conditions. When looking at some of these candlesticks, though, like the sell-off here, sell-off here, the sell-off here, and then the coming up, I mean, there are some big selling pressure weeks in here. So hopefully we can break this to the upside here shortly. Hopefully. But that's gold and silver today. It's looking all right. Gold's firming up. I'd like to see gold break to the upside here. And if we see gold break, I think all these companies will follow. So that's my take on it. Gold is vastly underpriced, undervalued, underpriced, however you want to call it, in terms of ratios in comparison to the monetary base, in comparison to other assets like the Dow Jones. This is going to have good potential when this thing breaks, and it's going to go for a good long while. Are we right on top of a break? Tough to say. We got to see what the market does. Some of these patterns, they've got very large patterns. They may take a little bit of time to develop and to break, but when they break these patterns, they're going to be big moves. So I think it's worth every bit the wait. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.